two changes of hearts. Why don't you take those away? Because I know you're going to shout at least one guy that I know out.
And yeah, I do have to give him a shout out because he's been calling me wrong on this, been ripping me apart for Christian McCaffrey. I thought the one point that he made that I want to make sure before I go into Christian specifically, there has to be the good hard evidence and not just like one, random meaningless play or coach speak puff to make me change a complete 180 on a guy. And there's a couple here that I'm having a complete 180 on because there are some people too, like you said, they'll be too stubborn, dig their heels in, or the people that see one little thing and suddenly they're just exploding and destroying their rankings. You gotta trust your gut and know what you were feeling about a guy or your ranking stock formula, what we use to rank our guys, and trust how you graded people out. But then when you got to make the adjustments to that stock formula because the evidence is telling you something's wrong, you got to make those adjustments or else you're just foolish and you're missing key points of evidence, like you said. And Christian McCaffrey is a guy that I was clearly wrong, and your boy Will was telling me about that I was clearly wrong, and now I buy it. Because it was the usage. I'm talking about the fantasy stock formula. The usage I did not expect. I thought his targets were going to go down because, Greg Olsen, when he played, McCaffrey's targets were all the way down to 5 instead of 7, and all these, metrics from last year. Plus, you got CJ Anderson, a better Jonathan Stewart is coming in. So why would he get more volume in the rushing game, Christian McCaffrey, if this guy CJ Anderson is better than Jonathan Stewart? It's going to be the same situation, if not a little less. That was my thinking, right? But through 2 weeks of a preseason, I've been proved completely wrong, and I have to take a 180 or else I'm an idiot. And when I love a talent, his talent's always graded high.
Yeah, you've never denied his talent.
That's easy for me to make the switch. If it's usage because I didn't recognize the usage was going to be as high as it is, that's an easy switch for me, especially when I believe in the talent. And this is a guy I've always loved. I loved him last year when he was cheap, and now I'm loving him even if he's a little more expensive. I was saying he was in our preseason kickoff guide listed as one of the most overpriced running backs in fantasy football. That's why you got to make sure you get the updated guide when it comes out in a week after the week 3 of the preseason, because McCaffrey is no longer overpriced. He's maybe even a little underpriced. He's up to 15 on my big board, ADP 18. So he's almost a fringe first rounder at this point. You look at last week, the usage was insane. So the first week we get a goal line carry. He executes at the 2-yard line. Oh man, maybe this guy's getting goal line work. Last week, the starting offense was in for 5 drives. McCaffrey was the only running back to touch the field. They ran 16 plays over those 5 drives. 3 of them were broken plays. It means, Newton got sacked twice, fumbled once, so the play didn't get off at all. We got 13 plays that got off. On those 13 plays, McCaffrey either touched the ball or was targeted 10 times. 10 out of 13, 77% usage rate for this guy.
And it was successful. And it wasn't just like, they were going to him a lot. It was like they're going to him a lot with huge success.
Yeah,
so it's not like something that they're going to then go away from in the regular season.
Exactly. When you talk about huge success, I mean humongous success in terms of a 71-yard second. He was in on 2nd and 1, gets a blast up the gut, not a typical McCaffrey carry, rips it right through, knifes through the defense, and then bounces to the outside and outruns everybody for a 71-yard score. I mean, that is ridiculous. Would never have seen that carry last year. But Norv Turner said this guy's realistic to expect 25 to 30 touches out of Christian McCaffrey this year. And I remember me and you were laughing and just realistic? No, not at all. Maybe it is. At this point, he was on pace for 50 touches in this preseason game. I mean, Coach Ron Rivera said it's ideal that he gets 25 to 30 touches. So, I mean, the team clearly is going to feature him. The passing game, he was dominant again. Everything about it is just suggesting 3-down workhorse. Even if he's not that prototypical build, we saw Norv Turner build an offense similar around LaDainian Tomlinson, who has maybe 10 pounds on McCaffrey, but was the same type of height, same type of style, same build. We know what LT did for so many years under Norv Turner. He's not afraid to build a workhorse out of a smaller framed back. It seems like McCaffrey's going to be that next one, and you cannot ignore these signs at this point. I apologize for being wrong earlier. Hopefully, if you were listening then.
Hopefully, we don't have to apologize again later.
Exactly.
Hopefully, he doesn't bomb, and then we have to apologize again. But guess what? We will if we're wrong again.
Exactly. And in the last point on that, Anderson didn't touch the field until the middle of the second quarter. He looked pretty good. And this is the great point about McCaffrey, too. The last one I'm going to make is if he goes down, Anderson operated like a true workhorse in the second and third quarters. You got yourself a 14th round handcuff, and Anderson would be a decent RB2 in this role if McCaffrey goes down. That's a nice insurance policy that not a lot of running backs come with. So you got a true work down, every down horse. He moved above Dalvin Cook in my rankings, and that's crazy because I love Cook. I'm all in on McCaffrey now.